What do you do with the quarterback situation, man?
Shedeur Sanders.
I agree with you. Okay,
Quick
so
and
you don't
easy.
think I'm crazy. Like I here the Guardians are bad. The Browns, we are projected to be bad unless they start Shedeur Sanders. I think Shedeur could flip this whole franchise around. But I've been saying if you go with Joe Flacco and the Guardians continue on the skid that they're on, LeBron's the only thing that can save this city from going to a 2012, 2010 to 2012 drought of being a bad Cleveland sports town.
Yep. I don't. Flacco's not the answer. Definitely not the long-term answer.
There's no point. And I saw this report the other day, and it's the internet nowadays, so I don't know if it's real or fake. There was something out there that like the Browns coaches hope Kenny Pickett wins the job because they think he could turn into what Baker Mayfield did in Tampa and what Sam Darnold did in Minnesota. Like, I liked Kenny Pickett in Philadelphia. Yeah, he played one good game against the Cowboys. Yes, he did take a knee for the defending reigning Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. He has 13 total touchdown passes in his career.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been further out on a quarterback in Cleveland than Kenny Pickett.
Well,
I mean,
I'm
what's the
more
point?
further out than Dylan Gabriel. I'm gonna be. I think he's too short to be an NFL quarterback.
I'd rather have Gabriel than Pickett.
I don't think Dylan Gabriel will last 3 years in the NFL. I think it
Oh,
was the biggest waste of a draft pick I've ever seen in the third round ever.
I just the only reason I say that is because with Pickett, you feel like there's no future. With Gabriel, there could be some miraculous thing that happens.
I guess. I mean, I think he's a shorter tool.
Yeah, I mean, he's a lefty. He he's small. I mean, he inarguably was one of the best quarterbacks in college football last year, though. He has
But
something.
it's college. I mean, and I know the schemes and all that. I know college more than the NFL now, and I like it. But the offensive linemen are still way shorter compared to the NFL. The speed of the game is still way faster compared to college. Like, I'm sorry. I don't see it. But here's the other thing. I don't understand for the life of me how he fits in Stefanski's system when Stefanski's system is under center play action. Why do they like him so much?
I don't know. It's the analytics, bro. It's Paul DePodesta pulling strings over in LA. It's Moneyball. But to answer your question, I think the only guy that should step on that field week one is Shedeur Sanders. Because why not? He has a
Why
chip
not?
on his shoulder. You had 3 wins last year. I mean, if he doesn't work out, Gabriel doesn't work out, Pickett doesn't work out, Flacco doesn't work out, just pick Archie next year.
They will win 3 games if Flacco starts.
I don't know if it would be three.
They will go. My prediction is they will start the year 0-6, and Shedeur will start week 7 against the Dolphins.
This isn't the worst Browns roster we've seen in 20 years.
But my God, that schedule was hard.
It is a hard schedule, but I think the roster is decent. I think the roster has a lot of good
Well, the
talent.
roster was decent last year, though.
Yeah, we didn't have a quarterback last year.
Well, in my opinion, if you have Flacco, you don't have a quarterback. Like I don't think Joe. I may be the only person. I didn't think he was that good here 2 years ago. The defense was amazing. He threw a lot of interceptions. The defense built the offense out on.
Yeah, that's true.
Like
I don't
what he
know.
threw 10 interceptions in 6 games,
Probably.
and he was horrible in the Texans game.
He was awful.
And by the way, he wasn't that good in Indianapolis last year either.
No, he wasn't. But I think he's built like Shador, right? They're both bigger guys. They're both statues. They both have decent arms.
Well,
I
Shedeur
think,
can run a little bit. Also, he's used to playing behind a bad offensive line.
yeah, yeah. He's also used to having Travis Hunter, though, to throw the ball to. And we don't have a guy that's Travis Hunter.
Yeah, for the I get their draft was the strangest draft I've ever seen. So I do like both running backs, though I would have
Oh,
preferred
I love it.
Travion Henderson over
I love
Quinion
it.
Junkins. That's just me. I think he's the better Ohio State back, but I love Dylan Sampson out of Tennessee.
Yes.
But why did they not draft a wide receiver? And then
Not
they
one.
signed Deontay Johnson, who quit on 2 teeth last year.
It doesn't make sense. I mean, I think Mason Graham will be good. Do I think he's
Oh,
going to be what,
I
third overall good,
oh
fifth
I
overall good?
Well, yeah, I mean, he has to be Jalen Carter to be worth that pick. I think
Yeah,
he's going to be a very good player. And as we talked about, I don't agree with paying Miles Garrett $40 million a year, but it is what it is. They have made these moves because Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski are trying to save their jobs.
yeah, yeah. I mean, they don't want to. They didn't want to miss on the quarterback pick again. It's like if you pick Dylan Gabriel in the third round and Shedeur Sanders in the fifth round and neither of them work out, it's like, well, we tried, but not really. But if they go out and they pick one of those guys in the first round, it's like, I can't believe you wasted a first round pick. I think going back to Travis Hunter, I think he's going to be a good NFL player. I do think he's a little small. I think he might get beat up a little bit. There's no way that he's going to continuously be able to play both sides of the
I
football.
was
There's
going to
no
ask,
chance.
so what would you do? Would you put him at receiver or corner?
Well, if he was on the Browns, I put him at receiver. But where is he? Jacksonville. They got
Yeah,
Brian
and
Thomas.
I think they're going to put him at receiver because I think they're going to give Trevor Lawrence as many weapons as he can because Liam Cohen is going to try to fix Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, the cornerback position to me in football is always a crapshoot. It's like
Well, and again,
I think it's
like,
the hardest position in
and
football.
I understand that, like, we in Philly, we had three good corners last year. We had Quinyon Mitchell, we had Eugene in the slot, and Darius Slay played very well for us last year. But I always thought corner was overrated a little bit. Like, Jalen Ramsey's great for Pittsburgh. I don't think a great corner wins you games. Name me the
No,
last shutdown corner that's won a Super Bowl.
you can't.
Yeah. Like, and that's why I always hear like all these Browns fans, like, we have Denzel Ward, we have Emerson, we have Newsome. And I'm like, yeah, how's your pass rush?
Yeah,
Non-existent. How's your offensive line? 30th in the league. Yeah, how's your skill positions? We got David Njoku. And Judy's a nice receiver, but he's not a number one receiver.
no, he had a really good season last year though.
Yeah, very good year, and we'll see if he'll be able to continue that production. So I ask this question every July to my guests because it's training camp, and I don't know if you know this or not. I don't do a ton of shows in August because I hate talking preseason NFL football. I
Yep.
think it's the biggest waste of time. I will watch the Browns Eagles preseason game only because both my teams are involved and it's in Philly and it's something to do on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon, whenever it is this year. Um, but I think preseason football, talking about it on the air, is a waste of time. So, September, October, November, December, January are always the biggest months in Britain's world. It's our football season. I give takes. Some are right, some are wrong. But I always spend July and August giving sort of predictions. And I like to ask my guests to name me teams that you think are underrated and overrated going into the season. I'm not even talking about, you don't even have to do like over under win totals or anything, but like teams that you like that some people aren't talking about, and then other teams that you think are overrated.
I think, well, the big one to me that I think might be a shock to some people is I think the Commanders are going to have a regression like the Texans. I think they're going to be overrated this year.
Well,
I think my
I like that a lot as an Eagles fan.
I mean, I think Jayden Daniels is going to be a career fantastic quarterback, but I think that team, that Commanders team, was riding his high last year. He was just lights out last year, but they're so old.
And they
If you
won so
go,
many one possession games.
yes, a lot of lucky. No, I won't say lucky. A lot of
Well,
close
some
wins.
some of it was luck. Even the Atlanta game I thought was luck.
Yeah, that I mean the Hail Mary, all these games. I mean Jayden Daniels, you have to give him his credit because he did look fantastic, especially as a
Oh yeah. No,
quarterback.
he looked like the NFC version of Lamar Jackson.
So I think that's a team that's overrated going into this year. I think I said when I was looking at their schedule, 10 wins.
Okay.
Um, the NFC South is hard because all those teams are just so averagely rated.
Oh,
Um,
I think Tampa's going to win that division going away personally.
I agree, but I don't think they're a team that you would ever look to win the Super Bowl.
No, like I think they're a good team, and I love that Njigba pick out of Ohio State.
Yeah. Um, I think I don't even know what are people rating like the Jets.
like 5, 6 wins.
I think that's accurate. I think,
I'll I'll give you one that I think is severely overrated. I think this team's gonna have a very bad year. I'm sticking to the NFC East. I think the Cowboys win 5 games.
but are the Cowboys even projected? They had 7 wins last year.
Some people had them going to the playoffs and winning the NFC East.
Uh,
Their over under, I believe, is like 8 or 9.5. Let me check real quick. Because I looked at their schedule. I think it's ridiculous. And I think Brian Schottenheimer was the worst head coach hire in the league. And I think Dak is old. I don't think he's going to be the same. Like I think Dallas has Micah Parsons. I know they traded for George Pickens, but I think it's basically CeeDee Lamb and Micah, and that's it.
I mean, you got Eagles twice, Commanders twice. Bears are going to be decent. You got Packers.
So
Uh,
Dallas is over unders at 7.5. And what I'm saying is I think that's way under.
so you think 5?
I think 5 wins.
I think
Because
7. Well, Lions, Chargers, Vikings, Chiefs, Broncos. That is a really tough schedule.
that's what I'm saying. And they're all mostly on the road.
Wow.
Even their W's, like the Giants, always play them tough. Carolina last year, I believe, beat them with Bryce Young, who you know this. I was saying last year the best quarterback that played Philadelphia all year last year was Bryce Young.
No, they lost. They lost to Cowboys beat the Panthers.
Did they? Okay.
They did.
But it was closer than I if I'm remembering correctly. I think Carolina gave him a game.
Let's see. Yeah, it was 10-7 at half. I mean, it was by no means a blowout.
30-14. So Dallas pulled away in the second half.
Yeah.
Um, the other one too, I'll give you one that I think could be a little bit underrated. The AFC South, I still like the Texans. I think they're probably the best team in the division. But
You're gonna say Jacksonville.
no, is there a world
Tennessee.
where Cam Ward and the Tennessee Titans just come out of nowhere and win that division?
I don't think so.
Okay. I my one biggest take that I've had since March is I think the team that finishes second in the AFC East, and I do think they do make the playoffs, is the Patriots.
Yeah, I mean the Patriots did show a lot of life last year, running it back with Drake May. It's still the Patriots, so uh, I don't think Miami or
And
New
I
York.
I love their draft. I thought they crushed their draft. They finally went offense. They embraced Drake May. They're working on their offensive line. Do I think Mike Vrabel and Josh McDaniels and sort of doing the Belichick thing all over again? Do I think it's the best thing in the world? No. But do I think that they added so many free agents. They added so much influx of talent on both sides of the ball. There's always that team that comes out of nowhere like Denver did last year. And I think this year it's going to be New England.
New England got Travion too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, they could be surprising.
Here's the other one that I'm not saying this could be a playoff team, but I think this team could be sneaky. Is Arizona?
I just don't have anything in Kyler.
I get it, but you know, I love the first two picks of the draft. Walter Nolan out of Old Miss. He's a guy I wanted Philadelphia to take if he was still there. And Will Johnson, the corner of Michigan, who I thought was the best corner in the draft. And I think
Yeah.
Jonathan Gannon is trying to rebuild that defense that he had in Philadelphia in Arizona. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. takes a big step up this year. They have McBride. They went offensive line the last couple of years in the draft. Kyler, for all his faults, has turned the ball over less. The Niners, there's a lot of noise there going on. I don't know what's going on in Seattle. I don't know. Like, I think Arizona could be an 8, 9 win team. I'm not saying they're going to be amazing, but I just think they're interesting.
Yeah, there's something there because again, that is another weak division. I mean, are the Rams gonna be another double-digit win team again?
It kind of feels like it, like 10 wins.
Yeah, that's what they had last year.
You know, um, I think that there's a lot of good teams in the NFL. I think what we're gonna see in the NFL is kind of what we saw last year, where there's very few bad teams. The Saints we know are gonna be bad. There's the potential for the Browns to be bad. There's the potential for the Giants to be bad, depending on what they do with Russ. That's if you look at the Giants schedule, I can't find 4 wins, even with Russell Wilson. It's one of the hardest schedules I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Um, so, but besides that, like even the Jets, you look at it like they got some talent. Like I think we're gonna see like the bottom of the NFL be like 5 wins, 6 wins.
Yeah. I mean, the Browns will be down there, but
Like
I
we're
think the
we're gonna
AFC
see
North
about 3 or 4 teams have like 11, 12 wins, and we're gonna see about 20 teams be like between 8 and 10 wins.
probably. I think the AFC North is another interesting division because Cincinnati's been on that bubble now ever since the Super Bowl, and
Yeah, doesn't it feel like at some point they're gonna get off to a hot start? Like,
they have to.
and I know they have the contract disputes and all that, but I'm sorry. I look at it and I go, you have Jamar Chase, you have T. Higgins, you have Joe Burrow. How could I not pick you to win 10 games?
Right,
Like
right.
to me, their defense was so bad last year. They're gonna be better. There's no way it can be worse.
Yeah. What they finished with. I mean, they were right on
And
the edge of the
they
playoffs
won
too.
9 games.
Yeah.
So that's why, like to me, the AFC is pretty easy to predict because of the quarterbacks. I'll take Josh Allen. I'll take Mahomes. I'll take Herbert. I'll take Lamar. I'll take Burrow, and I'll take Shroud. And then like you got your Bo Nixes, your Drake Mays, like if Trevor Lawrence bounces
Cam
back,
Ward.
maybe Ward. Like that's the group that I'm like Aaron Rodgers, and I'm like you're fighting for one playoff spot.
Yeah. I mean, I think I don't know how the national media is rating Pittsburgh. I just it's gonna be another 8 or 9 win season.
They remind I agree with you. There's I'm starting to think this could be Tomlin's first losing season. They're reminding me of the Jets from a year ago, and I bought into the Jets coin. I'm not doing it with Pittsburgh. I'm not getting fooled again twice.
No, no. I think losing Minka for Ramsey
It
is
makes no
foolish.
sense. I said the best part of that trade for all parties was John Smith going to Pittsburgh because Arthur Smith loves him.
Yeah.
I'm not even joking. Like, and I know the whole they don't have a number 2 receiver. Well, I think they're going to go more 2 tight end sets with Fryermuth and Jonnu Smith, and just have DK and let Aaron throw the Russell Wilson as moon ball to DK, and that's what their offense is going to be.
It's kind of crazy to look at the Pittsburgh lineup. It's completely different from last year.
And by the way, did they even need another corner? They brought in Slay. They still have Joey Porter. What was the point of getting Ramsey for, I think, a better player than Minka Fitzpatrick?
I don't know. I mean, I guess you're replacing Minka with Thornhill, and we all know how good of a player Thornhill is.
Like that clip from the Brandsworth podcast? If so, make sure you go down there and hit that subscribe button. While you're down there hitting the subscribe button, make sure to also hit the notification bell so you never miss another upload. And make sure you check out all the other clips from the Brandsworth podcast right here on YouTube.